Okay, so now I'll show you just a little bit about how you can play the game. So once your terms are ready, you would hit Play Flashcard Factory, and it would launch the game. So this is what you would be showing on your projector. So I'll hit yes, you see it. You'll ask students to go to peardeck.com/join, and then they type in the code that is shown. And as your students join, you'll see up in the corner how many of them have joined the game. And then as soon as all of your students have joined, you would hit clock in. It will automatically separate your students into two different teams, day shift and night shift, and it will put students together in pairs of 2. And if you have odd numbers, usually at least one student on each team is going to be working solo, which just means that they would play both the role of the artist and the writer. Your other teams that are working in pairs, one person is the writer first and one's the artist, and then when they get a new term, that switches. You also have the option to shuffle teams if you don't like the way that they are paired. And it's nice that it also shows this code down at the bottom. So if you have some students who come in late or falling behind and you're ready to go ahead and start, they can still join later. They are just playing on their own. So once you're good to go with your teams, you would hit Let's Play. And students are now being sent terms on their device. And so this is what is projected on the screen as students are working. So I've been given the term transition on my phone, and it's asking me to draw an example of a transition. So I might draw, and forgive my my terrible skills, you'll see some interesting things from them, just like you will from me. I am going to attempt to draw the caterpillar turning into or transitioning to a butterfly. So my drawing is done, so I hit I'm done, and now it's asking for me to write an example. So I might write a sentence using the word. I might say, a caterpillar undergoes a transition into a butterfly. And then when I'm done with that, I would hit I'm done. And it gives the option for the pair to review the example and the drawing, and then they ship it to the factory, and you see the flashcard fall onto the conveyor belt. Obviously, when you have multiple students doing this, the cards are going to be falling left and right. I'll do one more just so you can see it. It's asking for a pseudonym. So I might just draw one. I put JZ, and then to write an example, I might put many celebrities go by pseudonyms rather than their given names. And when I like that card, I'm going to ship it, and again, you will see it fall onto the deck. So once both teams have completed all of the terms, you can hit the next phase, quality control, or if it's taking a really long time and you see that you have at least one example for all 10 terms, whenever you are ready, you can go ahead and hit this button and move to that quality control phase where it will allow you to look over the cards. So I'll show you what that looks like. The cool thing is when you are going over these cards, it also shows the cards on the students' devices at the same time. So let's say that you really like this example and you'd like to add it to your final stack. You could give it the stamp of approval, and you'll see that it keeps score for night and day shift up here as you select their cards. And then let's say that we don't really like this example. So maybe we're going to X that one out. And you might do this if if their example, their sentence is not written correctly, or if their illustration doesn't make sense. And that would be a really good discussion piece for you to talk about, okay, what's wrong with this example, or what's wrong with this illustration. But let's say that you don't like it, so you X that one, and then you have your final set. And your two options here are to leave the factory, and it would just end your session and you're able to name it, or you can then export that list to Quizlet, which I'm not going to do here since it just has the one term there, but that's a good option for you so that you could then provide the link to that Quizlet for your students to study from. For the purposes of this video, I'm just going to hit leave the factory here, and you could name that, you know, Class A test session or fourth period test session, and then you would hit save and leave the factory. And then you're able to go back and look at those student responses later. And to do that, you would go to your home screen, where you would then see all of your active sessions, and then you can click on those. I'll show you this one, for example, where it shows you my different classes that have done them. And so I can click on those sessions and see what their answers were.